Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyida Alina Batul and I'm a foundation level student in Rehan School. So today I'm going to ask some questions from Maya and she have to give me answers on the topic of micro habits. Hi Maya, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Ready for your questions on micro habits?
Okay. So Maya, my first question from you. What are micro habits in simple words?
Micro habits are basically super small versions of the habits you want to build. Think of them as tiny, almost laughably easy steps, like doing one push up instead of a workout, or reading just one page instead of a whole chapter. The idea is they're so small you can't really fail at them.
Okay, Maya.
Next question.
Now tell me, how are micro habits different from big goals?
Big goals are the destination, like losing 20 pounds or writing a novel. Micro habits are the tiny steps you take every day to actually get there. Big goals are overwhelming to think about, but micro habits are immediate, doable things you can check off right now.
Why do people fail at big habits but succeed with small ones?
I think you meant to ask, why are micro habits more effective than big goals? If that's right, the main reason is psychological. Big goals feel daunting, so we procrastinate. Micro habits feel manageable, so we actually do them consistently. That consistency, even if it's tiny at first, builds momentum and eventually makes a real difference. They break down overwhelm into something you can actually stick with.
Okay, so my next question from you is, why do people fail at big habits and succeed with small ones?
Mm, people fail at big habits because they usually ask too much too soon. Your brain sees go to the gym for an hour every day and thinks that's a lot of effort. You need willpower to get started, and willpower's limited. Small habits like put your workout clothes on require almost no willpower. They remove resistance and become automatic over time, while big habits rely on willpower alone, which wears out.
Okay, so now tell me, can a habit really be effective if it takes less than a minute?
Absolutely, actually. That's the point. The less resistance, the better. If it takes less than a minute, you're not giving your brain a chance to talk you out of it. The whole thing about micro habits is they're almost so small, it feels stupid not to do them. Like, seriously? Just flossing one tooth? Even the laziest person can handle that. That's where the consistency happens.
Okay, so now tell me, what is the science behind the habit formation?
It boils down to neurology. What happens in your brain? Each time you do something, even something tiny like a micro habit, your brain releases dopamine, creating this reward pathway. The more you repeat the behavior, the stronger that dopamine pathway gets, and the more automatic the habit becomes. This gets stored in a section of the brain called the basal ganglia, making it something you do without thinking too much. It's basically your brain learning that doing this thing feels good, so it keeps wanting to do it.
So now tell me, how does the brain respond to small, consistent actions?
The brain actually doesn't care if the action is small. What matters is the repetition. Small, consistent actions get cemented into these brain pathways more effectively than infrequent big actions. Think of it like building a path. Frequent footsteps create a clear trail, whereas occasional big stomps just create scattered footprints. Consistency builds strength and permanence over time.
Okay, so now tell me, what is the role of consistency in micro habits?
Consistency is everything. It's not about doing a massive amount at once, but doing a tiny amount consistently. Daily repetition creates this neurological pattern that turns the habit into automatic behavior. A single workout doesn't make you fit. Showing up every day, even for 5 minutes, is what builds real change. Consistency reinforces the reward pathways in your brain. making the habit harder and harder to break.
Okay, so now tell me, are micro habits suitable for everyone?
Pretty much. They're especially good for people who struggle with motivation, feel overwhelmed, or keep starting and stopping big goals. But honestly, they work for anyone, even successful people who already have strong routines. The principle of starting small can make adding anything new easier.
Okay, so now tell me,
Next question.
how long
Yeah,
does
go
it
ahead.
take how long does it take to build a micro habit?
Varies, but generally somewhere between 18 to 254 days. Most studies show it, but show around 66 days is the average for habit formation. But honestly, micro habits kick in much faster because they're so easy. They just become part of your routine before you even realize it. It's not really about a specific time frame, but consistency. Keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. And it'll feel more natural over time.
What is an example of micro habit?
Something super small, like instead of workout for an hour, it's do one push up right when you wake up. Instead of read more, it's read one page before bed. Instead of meditate, it's take one deep breath when you sit at your desk. Something so ridiculously small that you can't find an excuse to not do it.
Why does starting small reduce resistance?
Because your brain doesn't see it as a big commitment. When you think of, I have to go exercise, it sounds exhausting and takes willpower to override the couch. But put on my running shoes doesn't seem hard at all. The amount of resistance, that internal pushback, is directly proportional to how difficult the task feels. Smaller task equals less resistance.
How do habits affect motivation?
They work the opposite way from how most people approach motivation. Instead of relying on willpower and enthusiasm, which are unreliable, micro habits build momentum. Consistent completion, even something tiny, creates this feeling of accomplishment that actually boosts motivation. It's like a domino effect. One small win makes the next one easier. You're
Okay.
not waiting for motivation to find you, you're creating it through action. Mhm.
What
Next
is the
question when you're
habit
ready.
loop? What is the habit loop?
Ah, my apologies, I misheard you. You said habit loop. The habit
Yeah.
loop consists of three parts: cue, routine, and reward. The cue triggers the behavior, the routine is the actual habit, and the reward is what reinforces it. For micro habits, the cue is your trigger, like after brushing teeth, do one push up. The routine is the micro habit itself, and the reward is the good feeling of doing something positive for yourself. Understanding this loop helps you build habits.
How do triggers help in building habits?
Triggers or cues are essential because they create automaticity. They remove the need to decide and instead associate the habit with something that already happens. So instead of thinking, should I work out? You have a trigger like after my coffee, then do one push up. No decision fatigue. The trigger just sets it in motion. It transforms a new habit into something you already have as part of your usual routine.
How do why do people
How do
procrastinate? Why do people procrastinate on even on small tasks?
even on small tasks, procrastination often comes down to emotional regulation. It's not laziness. Usually it's that we associate the task with discomfort, boredom, or anxiety. The feeling of overwhelm feels too big,
Why
even for something that, thanks for the section.
can micro habits reduce anxiety or stress?
Absolutely. The predictability of micro habits actually lowers anxiety over time. When you're consistent with small actions, you build this sense of control and competence. And physically, things like taking one deep breath throughout the day actually activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the body's natural relaxation response. It's a tiny action that can have a pretty big effect on your overall stress level.
How does discipline relate to micro habits?
Discipline doesn't really play the role you'd think. Traditionally, discipline means making yourself do things you don't want to do. Micro habits actually require very little discipline. Since they're so small, there's no real internal resistance to overcome. It's not about forcing yourself to do something hard, it's about making the habit so easy that it just naturally happens, that makes discipline almost unnecessary.
What role does dopamine play in small achievement?
Whenever you complete that micro habit, even the tiny one, like one push up, um, your brain gets a small dopamine hit. Over time, it starts to associate that small achievement with good feelings, creating a feedback loop where your brain actually seeks that reward, builds motivation without you having to force it. You're basically creating your own reward system for just showing up. It makes you crave the feeling of ticking something off your list, however small.
How can I identity I am a reader shape habits 20?
I think I caught part of what you said. Are you asking how to identify and shape micro habits specifically for reading? If so,
Yeah.
you could start with read one page or read one paragraph. Another trick is to place the book where you already do something else, on your coffee table, next to your bed. It creates that trigger where you're literally just sitting there and it's already there. And it's just one page, easy enough that you probably won't skip it.
Why is willpower not enough for long term change?
Because willpower is a limited resource, it gets depleted. Every decision you make throughout the day drains it. So by the evening, you're exhausted. Relying solely on willpower means you're fighting an uphill battle against your brain's natural resistance. Whereas micro habits bypass willpower altogether by making the initial action so effortless you can't realistically talk yourself out of it.
How can I start a micro habit today?
Just pick something that takes less than 30 seconds. Seriously, make it ridiculously easy. Make brushing your teeth already? Add one push up right after. Already make coffee? Commit to taking one deep breath while you wait for it. Then just do it. No planning, just do it once and let that habit itself start creating momentum.
What is the best time to perform a micro habit?
Right after something you already do habitually, that's when you already have the momentum going. The key is to anchor the new habit onto an existing one so it becomes naturally part of your routine. After brushing teeth, after morning coffee, after getting out of the shower, those are all easy places to build from.
How can I track my micro habits?
Simple as best. Just a check mark on a calendar or journal works. Don't overthink it. Apps can help, but sometimes that adds resistance. The tracking isn't as important as just consistent behavior itself. If you miss a day, don't punish yourself. Just keep doing the next day. The goal is to build momentum, not feel shame.
Should I focus on one habit or multiple at once?
Start with one. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to change everything at once. Once that one feels genuinely automatic, then you can add another. Otherwise, you risk diluting your focus and having nothing really stick. One at a time keeps it simple and increases your chance of success.
What are examples of micro habits for students?
Lots of options for students. Read one page of textbook before sitting down to study. Take 5 deep breaths before starting work. Write down one thing to learn today. Do one question when first sitting down to study. Build momentum with the easy one. Anything that gets them started with less resistance.
How can micro habits Improve study routines.
They make studying feel less overwhelming. Instead of thinking, I need to study for 3 hours, you have a routine. Sit at desk one, practice problem. Or before opening textbooks, 1 minute stretching to wake up. They remove the resistance, the mental block that often happens at the start of study time. Micro habits break down study sessions into these easy wins that build momentum.
What are micro habits for better health?
Things like drinking 1 glass of water right when you wake up, standing up and stretching every hour, doing 1 squat after you go to the bathroom. Those tiny shifts add up massively over time, build a healthier pattern without a massive change or struggle.
What are some digital productivity micro habits?
Those are good. Things like close one extra browser tab right now, or turn off notifications for 5 minutes, or clear out one email when you open your inbox. They create a less chaotic digital environment and prevent distraction snowballing. Really small digital wins.
How do you attach a new habit to old habits?
To it, sounds like you got everything you wanted covered. Was this helpful for your recording session today?
Why do people quit when an existing one go too small?
Yeah, they lose track of their habit triggers, the cues that remind them to do the micro habit. Life gets in the way. Something happens where they break the association between existing habit cue and new micro habit. If you miss once or twice, it's fine,
Okay.
but keeping up after that can be hard without that anchor.
What should I
Maybe
do
the
if
anchor
I
habit
miss?
shifts.
What should I do if I miss my micro habit one day?
Just pick it back up the next time your cue happens. Don't try to make up for it or beat yourself up about it. One missed micro habit is no big deal. It doesn't invalidate all the progress you've made. The goal is consistency over time, not perfection. Just keep showing up when your trigger happens again.
Can micro habits become boring?
They can. The easy workaround is to swap in slightly harder variants when the original feels automatic, like switch from one push up to two, or add in something else similar that still feels tiny and consistent. The key is to keep it challenging enough to feel engaging, but not so hard you'll skip it entirely.
What are common mistakes building in
Ugh.
micro habits?
People either pick habits too big, failing before they start, or pick too many at once. Also, picking cues that happen too rarely or that they don't already stick to religiously. Better to work with routines you're 95% consistent with than tack on something small.
How do distractions affect habit building?
Distractions completely wreck focus. Habit building thrives on automation when distractions derail that automatic behavior. This is why anchor cues help. They pull you back to the loop when your mind wanders. If you're trying to build a micro habit but can't stay focused on cue routine steps, you need to eliminate the things that pull your attention away during it.
So, Maya, tell me, what if results are not shown visibly quickly?
Habit building is slow, results aren't linear. It takes time to build those neural pathways. That's literally how the brain works. If you're not seeing changes in a week, that's normal. Stick with it for 30 days, then reassess. The payoff comes from consistent effort, not overnight miracles.
So, Maya, my last question from you is, can too many small habits become overwhelming?
Yeah, they absolutely can. What starts as simple can turn into mental clutter if you add too many at once. It's like trying to remember too many passwords. Your brain starts to overload. Stick to one or two when you start, master those, then expand later. Small steps are powerful, but moderation's important.
Okay, everyone. Thank you so much, Maya, for my this session. I hope you guys enjoyed it, liked it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Elena Batul. Allah Hafiz and Pakistan Zindabad.